Hello everyone, welcome to Calling Glass, welcome to the club, welcome to the pod. My name is Alvaro, as always, and today in the podcast we're going to talk about how do the best players in the league perform against the top 15 teams. Let's see it. So hello everyone, welcome back. Like I said, first of all, I want to say I have a bit of news. I think you can see I don't know if it's my left. It's my left. You can see this here, the lighting with the Calling Glass letters. I hope it's visible, more or less. And also I'm wearing the Wisconsin Badgers t-shirt. Let's go Badgers. They are my team, my NCAA team. And I follow them since the Frank Kaminsky times, and they are not playing currently in the March Madness, but they lost already. But since it's March Madness season, since it's March, I wanted to wear something related to the NCAA, and here it is, the Badgers, Wisconsin. Okay, so with the analysis, we move on. Yes, I want to start first with the analysis, and then I will do a bit of at the end, a bit of a weekly what has happened in the NBA in the league this past week, and then maybe the game at the end. But first, we start with the big analysis that I did, because like I did 2 weeks ago, I compared the best teams against the top 15 teams in the league. So in between them, how were they performing? And today I'm doing the same, but with the players. So how are the players doing against the best teams? How are their stats comparing against their stats versus the whole league? So are they playing better against top teams? Are they playing worse? Etc., etc. The data that I got, I have been downloading it. Maybe it's not currently super up to date. Maybe there's been some games this past week that I didn't get, but most of it I got. So it's pretty. I have a big database, which is pretty. I think it's very. Yeah, that's it. I think it's gonna be a good database to get some conclusions. And first of all, I want to talk about the Shai versus Jokic debate, because I want to compare them and see where they are doing against top teams. So to start, I'm going to talk about these two players. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, how is he doing against the best teams of the league? Top 15 best teams of the league. So I'm gonna talk about points, assists, BPM, box plus minus, and also 3-point percentage. So points against. So I want to say his real stats for the season. He's scoring 32.9 points, 6 assists, and 11.5 BPM, shooting 37% from 3. Now, if we compare that to his stats against the best teams, he's scoring 35 points instead of 33, so 2 points better, top teams. He's giving 6.7 assists, so half assists more than 6.3. And his BPM is up by 1.5 points from 11.5 to 12.9, which is kind of a big increase. And not only that, but his 3-point percentage is going from 37 to 30 to almost 40. So he's going from shooting 37% from 3 to shooting 40% from 3. Very high increase, very good for Shai. On the other hand, we have Nikola Jokic. This is a Serbian guy, plays for the Denver Nuggets. I don't know if you... Yeah. He's playing kind of good right now. You might know him. Tall guy, yeah, a bit chubby, but whatever. His real stats are 29 points, 10 assists, 13 BPM, shooting 41% from 3. And against the top 15 teams, he's scoring 26 points, so 3 points worse. Big drop. He's giving 9.8 assists, so less than half assists worse, so his assists maintain the level. His BPM is going down 3 points from 13 to 10. And his 3-point percentage is going down from 41% to 38%. So actually, 3% worse. Actually, the 3-point percentage is better, the one from Shai against top teams, than Jokic, which is kind of surprising. Now, there is a huge debate, right? Like, who should be the MVP? To me, this is true that looking at these numbers kind of maybe help you find a solution to the dilemma of who's the MVP, because you can see that Shea is actually performing very good against better teams. Stats, maybe you could say, 35 points. It's a lot of points against top teams, plus 7 assists. On the other hand, you have Jokic, which is doing 26 and 10 assists, plus 12 rebounds. You could say that based on stats, even advanced stats like BBM, Shea is better against top teams than Jokic. Overall, against everyone, Jokic is better in stats. But against top teams, maybe it's Shea. But still, for me, I know when I see players, when I see them play, not only stats, I know that Jokic is the better player of the two. I don't think, to me, this is not a debate. Jokic is the best player in the world. I don't think Shea is even second in the world right now. Not even third, maybe. So, maybe third at the moment. But so to me, the MVP should be Jokic still. But I understand that this data actually could push the narrative that Shea should be MVP. Why do I think Jokic should be the MVP still? Because if we were to put Jokic in the OKC Thunder, the Thunder will be even more favorite than they are right now to win everything. They will be better. And if we put Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in the Nuggets, in Denver Nuggets, the Denver Nuggets will be fighting to get to the 10th spot in the play-in. I'm pretty sure. I don't think the Nuggets will be better. They will be actually pretty worse, I think. Now, Shea's amazing, but Jokic is better. That's all. That's my conclusion. The conclusion is that against top teams, Shea is performing much better than Jokic. Also, why do I think that maybe Shea is performing better? I think Shea has more help, right? More support. Which means that against normal or bad teams, average teams, he doesn't have to push too hard, right? But when OKC plays tough teams, he maybe has to push it even harder and take more the lead. And he can do that because he has he was not pushing at his max against average teams. But against tough teams, he can go the extra mile. Now, Jokic, the problem is that he's always at the extra mile because the support that he has in Denver is not as the support that Shea has in OKC. So he's always at his max. And then it's normal that when he plays with better teams against better defenses, he plays a bit worse. I think it's normal. And most of the players actually that I will show are playing a bit worse against better teams. So it's normal. So after talking about Shea and Jokic, I want to move on. I want to talk about the rest of the players that I analyzed for this exercise. And I will tell the list of the players that I took into consideration. Apart from Jokic and Shea, I also took into consideration Giannis Antetokounmpo, this Greek guy. Luka Doncic, the Slovenian dude. Zion Williamson, Wemby, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Domantas Sabonis, Paolo Banchero, Curry, Haliburton, Mobley, Butler, Sengun, Branson, LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Williams from OKC, Kevin Durant, Darius Garland, Kate Cunningham, Karl Anthony Towns, James Harden, Pascal, Spicy P, Siakam, Franz Wagner, Kyrie Irving, Jamal Murray, Damian Lillard, Jaren Jackson Jr., JJJ, Jaylen Brown, Devin Booker, Trae Young, and Ja Morant. So I think I took all the stars into consideration for the analysis, and I divided them. This, by the way, the analysis is not to show who's worse or who's better. The analysis is to compare the players against themselves when they are playing tough competitions versus when they are not playing tough competitions. So I'm not comparing who's better against, Jokic and Shea. Yes, that was a comparison. But now I'm going to just talk about player A and player B is the same player, but against different teams. So I'm not trying to say that, I'm going to say that some players are much better against bad teams than they are against tough teams, which is surprising and it's interesting. But I'm not saying that certain players, because they are worse than themselves against top teams, means that they are worse than other players. That's not the objective of this. Or that's not what I'm saying. You can jump into the conclusions that you want. So I made 3 groups. Well, 4 groups actually. One group is the players that are better against tough competition, against the top 15 teams. Then there is the group that are worse against top 15 teams. And then there is the group that are the same against tough competition, but I'm going to talk about certain players from there that are interesting because maybe they, I will talk about it later. So first, the players that are better against tough competition, which to be honest, you could maybe guess them because these players are known, some of them, for coming up big when the stage, coming up big when the stage asks them to do so, like in playoffs or like in important games. So the first one that I have as a player that is doing better against the top 15 teams is Luka Doncic. Luka, his points go up 2 points per game. So from 28 that he's averaging against everyone, he's scoring now 30 points per game against top 15 teams. His assists do go down, 1 assist less, so from 8 to 7. His points go up by 2, like I said. And his 3-point percentage goes up by 2%, from 36 to 38%, which is good. Yeah, the assists go down, but overall, also BPM a bit higher. So overall, he gets better against tough competition, which is good. And like I said, Luka is known for in playoffs or in finals, he didn't do that well, but usually is the guy that when the moment comes, he delivers. Second player on the list that does better is Paolo Banchero. He scores usually 26 points. Against tough competition, he scores 27 points. So 1 more. And his BPM also goes from 4 to 5 points. So that's good. 1 better. Who else? I will do a bit faster because I don't want to stay too much with each player. Who else I have? Kevin Durant. He moves from 27 points to 28. Or from 26. 1.5 point better actually. And his 3-point percentage also goes up by 2%, from 43 to 45%. KD. Slim Reaper. Now I have a player, another Canadian, that is known, especially from the bubble and from the playoffs. And there is like 2 players. There is Jamal Murray. There is Jamal Murray from regular season, and there is Jamal Murray from playoffs. In playoffs, he scores 50 points. In regular season, he scores 15. Well, we can see that he's better against better teams. Mainly, I want to say that his BPM, so how much his box plus minus, how much he's helping the team, is going up almost by 1 point. So from 1 points to 2 points in BPM in against top team. And his 3-point percentage, this is very impressive, is going up by 4.5%. From almost 40% to 44%. Very good for Jamal Murray. Blue Arrow. And then the last one that I have as a player that gets better against top competition is Jaylen Brown. Also known for doing so, right? That he won the finals, the MVP, and he also won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And this is why. Same case as Jamal Murray, BPM going up almost 1 point, from 0 actually to 0.5, or 0, more or less. And his 3-point percentage going at 4% better. So from 32% to 36%. That's Jaylen Brown, and that's the list of the players that are better, that I could consider that are better against tough competition. I said them again: Luka Doncic, Paolo Banchero, Kevin Durant, Jamal Murray, and Jaylen Brown. Now, here is the list of the players that are worst against tough competition. And to be honest, I don't like this list because there are players that I really love here. But it is what it is. Data don't lie. And but again, this doesn't mean that these players are performing bad. It means that they are performing worse when they are facing better teams, which is normal, by the way. This is the norm. This is usual, especially in teams that are for players that are that are being pushed already a lot, and that they don't have that much support from their team, right? So first one here, Mr. Stephen Curry, another like a 3-point specialist, this guy, if you don't know who he is. His points go down 1.5, so from 24 to 22.5. His BPM also goes down 1 point, it's from 6 to 5, and his 3-point percentage goes down from 39% to 37%. 37 for Stephen Curry is very low, but yeah, that's what it is. It's true that I'm considering him the whole season, with and without Butler. Who else I have as worse? Tyrese Haliburton. Tyrese Haliburton is coming down from 1 point less, so from 18.6 to 17.5. And his 3-point percentage also big drop from 39% to 33.5%. So 5% worse for Haliburton from 3. It is true that we saw Haliburton struggle last year in the conference finals against Boston Celtics. I remember very explicitly in my mind how he couldn't pass by Jrue Holiday. He had him locked down and he knew all the moves and everything. So yeah, he couldn't do anything. But yeah. And Haliburton is one of my favorite players to watch. So this hurts, like I said. And Stephen Curry is my favorite player overall. So, but yeah. Who else? Third one in the list. A bit surprising, to be honest. Not because he's an amazing player, but because you would think that, yeah, he's a player that is improving a lot, that is new in this kind of star role or star conversation. I'm talking about a player from OKC, Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams, his points go down 1 point, so from 21 to 20. And his 3-point percentage goes down 2.5% worse. So from 36 to 34, from 36 to 33.5. Who else is in the list? Interesting case. Karl Anthony Towns. Why interesting? Because his 3-point percentage is better against top teams. 3% better. From 42.5, he goes to 45.5, which is good. But his points go down 2.5 points less. So from 24.5 to 22. And his field goal, like I said, his 3-point percentage is 3% better. His field goal is 1.5% worse. From 52 to 51. 52.5 to 51. Which means that he's shooting better from 3. Maybe less, we don't know. I didn't check. But he's shooting much, much worse from 2. You know, to make the difference, because the field goal already incorporates the threes. So if your threes go up in percentage, you must shoot much, much worse from 2 to bring it down still. And he's scoring less points, which makes sense. So yeah. Cat also made sense because the Knicks, as we saw 2 weeks ago, they are not doing that well against tough competition, so it makes sense more or less. Next player on the list, Mr. Jimmy Harden. James, is going down in BPM, 1 point less in BPM, so from 4 to 3, box plus minus, and his 3-point percentage is going down from 35% to 31% against tough competition. Something to note about. 31 is very, very low for anyone, in James Harden included. I assume that James usually takes tough contested threes. He usually does a step back. But yeah, 31 is very low. Even though Clippers are doing very well lately. I will talk about them later. Next one in the list has worse performers than when they play the rest of the teams. Another of my faps is Franz Wagner, the German boy. His points go down 1.5 from 24 to 22.5. His BPM also goes down almost 1 point from 3 to 2. And his 3-point percentage actually goes up 3% better from 29 to 32. But his field goal goes down 2 points, 2% worse. So from 46 to 44. It's like Karl Anthony Towns. He shoots better threes, but he shoots way worse from two. I guess defenses, well, I don't know why this happens. Maybe they leave him, probably they let him shoot more or more open, but they don't give him the lane. They don't let him get to the rim, which is what actually he does better, I would say, than shooting. And yeah, terrible. Actually, he's shooting less than 30% in general from 3. That's really low. To me, he's like a good mechanics, good shooter, but yeah, I don't know why he shoots. He doesn't make them more. Next player on the list, the poor Kyrie Irving. Poor because he got injured, and I'm sad for it. And well, his BPM is coming down 1.5 points against tough competition from 3.5 to 2. And that's it. The rest is more or less the same. So he scores more or less the same. He gives the same assists, same percentages, but BPM is worse. So he's helping his team. The intangibles are worse for Kyrie Irving against top teams. The defense, maybe it is because we don't see defense here. Well, next player, I'm going to leave it for the end. Because I have 2 players. I haven't mentioned the worst players or the worst difference players. So I'm going to go with another one. I have JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr. His points go down 1, so from 22 to 21. His BPM goes 1.5, down 1.5, from 3 to 1. Well, from 2.8 to 1.2. I don't like saying like this from the numbers. I prefer to say 1.5 or absolute, but yeah. And his 3-point percentage, huge drop from 38 to 31% from 3. Jaren Jackson Jr. This is crazy. I think this is the biggest drop from 3-point. Crazy impressive for the Hopap. I don't know what's going on with Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't know what's. Yeah, I don't get it. How do you shoot 7% worse when you are playing tough teams? Yeah. And then the last 2 players that I didn't mention yet that are the worst ones in terms of against themselves. Just to be clear. They are the worst ones when comparing themselves against themselves. So we have first Damian Lillard, which is going down in points, 2.5 points less. So from 25 to 22.5. His BPM is also coming down 2.5, from 4 to 1.5. And his 3-point percentage is 4% worse, from 38 to 34. So that's one. I think, why do I say one of the worst? Because everything is going down by a big margin. BPM, points, and 3-point percentage. Who else also, a lot of things are going down is Ja Morant. His points are going down 1, so 1 point less, from 22 to 21. His assists are going down 1.5, from 7.5 to 6. His BPM is 2 points worse, from 2 to 0. And his field goal percentage, I'm not gonna talk about the 3 because he doesn't shoot that many threes and he doesn't shoot that good. His field goal overall is going down from 45 to 41%, almost 4% worse for Ja Morant. So yeah, that's the list of the worst. And now, the conclusions. I have already mentioned conclusions. I don't think this makes players better or worse. I think it's just interesting to know that against top defenses, usually, or against the top teams, some players struggle more than others, and some players are better, and some players are able to maintain the level. That's all. Usually, you see that most of the players drop the percentage against top teams. Except, like I said, Karl Anthony Towns and Franz Wagner, but even it's normal to drop percentages. But yeah. Now we move on to the third category of players that are the ones that maintain the level. So if I don't mention a players because they maintain the level, I'm going to mention only 4 of these players that maintain the level. So the players that there is players that I haven't mentioned. For example, Zion Williamson is because his level is the same against all the competition. So from the players that perform the same, like I said, mention 4 of them. Which 4 are they that I want to mention? Wembanyama. Why? Because his 3-point percentage goes down 3%, from 35 to 32, but the rest maintains the level, which is interesting. Well, a bit less, half a point less, but his, BPM is the same. Yeah. To me, what this means that probably against bad teams, they give him the shot, and he shoots them and he makes them, but probably better defenses are pressing more into him, and he, I assume, that attacks more the rim, and he gets to the basket and he scores because his field goal is the same, and his production is the same, which to me it means that if he played the same way against tough team that he plays against bad teams, he will be much better even better against worse teams. I feel like I think he's not pushing as hard. I think sometimes it's like, I will shoot the 3 and he makes it, but he could probably attack more the rim against bad teams as well and even be better. That's the conclusion that I get. Second player that I want to mention is Jalen Brunson from Villanova Wildcats. Why Brunson? Nothing special. He maintains the level. He shoots 1.5% better for 3, but I don't want to mention that. It's just because knowing that Karl Anthony Towns is worse and knowing that the Knicks are performing much worse against tough teams, seeing that Jalen Brunson maintains the level, a high level. It's kind of impressive, and I think props to Jalen Brunson, because I don't think the problems of the Knicks are not from Jalen Brunson, I will say. He's maintaining his 26 points, 8 assists per game, shooting almost 40% from 3, shooting almost 50% from the field goal, so pretty good. Third player from the list of maintains the level, but it's interesting to talk about, is Darius Garland. Why Darius Garland? Because his 3-point percentage goes down 2% from 40 to 38. His field goal also 2% from 47 to 45, but his points are half point better. His BPM is the same exactly, and his assists are the same, which this to me means that he's shooting worse, but he's doing something else. I don't know what he's doing. How he can shoot worse, but maintain. Yeah, he's doing other things to keep the level of his team, and probably he's shooting less efficiently, but maybe, scoring more, getting free throw. I don't know, but good for Darius Garland to maintain the level. And fourth player is Devin Booker, because Devin Booker also is interesting because he's shooting better from 3% better, from 34 to 37%, but he's scoring less points, 1.5 points less, from 25 to 24, which to me is this interesting. So obviously he's shooting less, but more efficiently, right? He's shooting less threes overall, but he's making them at a more efficient rate, which is actually just making him the same player, maintaining the level. Less points, but he misses less. So it's like overall, net, he stays the same. So yeah, I think overall, this is the whole analysis. Conclusions, you can jump into the ones that you want to. I think for me, what I see is that there are trends that we already knew, or players that we already know or think about, that they usually come up big to the stage, or they actually come up the opposite of big. They come up small to the big stage. We already knew some players like that, like I mentioned, Jamal Murray, Jaylen Brown, etc. But there are also some outliers that we did not expect in these categories, and here we see them. So yeah, interesting. And also, like I mentioned, I think there are players that are very alone in their team, and of course they're going to perform worse against better teams, because they don't have any more power to do anything else, right? They are already playing at their max, like Jokic, like I said. So yeah, so they do what they can, and of course, when the defense is better, they score less points, which is normal. Okay, so that's it for the big analysis. We move on to the next segment of the show. So the next segment of the show is the weekly update, which I'm going to talk about different things that has happened, some news about the league, and also I will show later about stats of the teams the last week. How are they doing? First, I want to talk about the news. Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, gave a press release, a press speech. He was speaking in front of the press. And he said one thing first, that for him, he said that the All-Star changes were a miss, which is kind of interesting that he's recognizing his mistakes, which is the mistakes of the NBA, which is good, I think. I agree. I think you have to try an error. So I think it's a good try and it's a good error. But he also mentioned something else more important. I would say that he mentioned that he's partnering with FIBA to create an NBA in Europe. Now, what does this mean? He mentioned that there will be 16 teams in big cities. But yeah, I don't know. We don't know more. That's all he said. But we don't know. I don't know how this will work. I think it will be more kind of like an EuroLeague than an NBA, because either you create teams from zero, which you could start teams from zero, from scratch. But the teams that right now, they are already working and competing in different ways. They're running different teams. Like the draft system can't work in the clubs that you have in Europe at the moment, because there is not such a thing. Also, leagues or teams usually they can lose and they can go to a second division, so that doesn't happen in the NBA. So I don't know how this is gonna work. In my opinion, probably my guess is that it would be more like closer to a EuroLeague than the NBA, which the EuroLeague already exists. So I don't know, but it's interesting. It's interesting, and let's see how this progresses in the future. Second thing that I want to mention, LeBron James, another dude that plays basketball, kind of good. He was in the Pat McAfee show. I don't know how to call his last name. To me, that his last name sounds like the like the computer program that protects you from the virus, McAfee, right? Maybe it's the same last name. It could be. He was in his show and he said different things. One of them that I found funny is that there has been always this rumor, right, that LeBron every year LeBron spends $1 million on his health, right, on his nutrition, physical therapists, trainers, etc. Well, he said that this number of 1 million is made up, and I don't know where he doesn't know where it came from, which is funny. He spends money, of course, and time and effort and money in his health, but he doesn't know where this million. He probably it's not 1 million. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less. Probably it's less, but he doesn't know where the million came from, which is funny. And second point he said during this show is that he didn't say, but he insinuated that the NBA draft in the past could have been rigged because he being from Ohio, from Akron, he was drafted by a team from Ohio, the Cleveland Cavaliers. That also happened with Derrick Rose, which was a clear number 1, and he was drafted by the Chicago Bulls, and he's from Chicago. And it also happened with Patrick Ewing from New York. He was drafted by the Knicks, and he was a clear number 1 pick. So he thinks that it could have been rigged, which I agree. I think probably was. Again, with David Stern as the commissioner, I think the NBA was a bit more riggy. I think they were doing more tricks to keep the audience and stuff like that. I don't think it's happening with Adam Silver, that right now. And I think the fans will catch it easier right now. But yeah, the draft of Patrick Ewing is very, very. There is something weird going on there. There is video of that. And now the thing is that there is so much video of everything that it's really hard to pull a rig. But in the past, I think they were doing it. Third big news from the NBA this last week. Memphis Grizzlies has fired their coach, Taylor Jenkins, the head coach, out of nowhere Wednesday when Memphis is doing great, or they are 5th in the West with a good record, and nobody knows what happened. It's probably not because of sports related. It's probably something not like outside of the basketball, but yeah, he was fired. I don't know if we will ever know what happened. And right now, the assistant of Taylor Jenkins, Tuomas Lisalo, a Finnish guy, is taking the job, I guess, for the season. This is not good news for Memphis, which I feel like they will probably go down in the first round. And now without the first coach, it seems more probable, to be honest. So it's not good news for them. But yeah. And now I move on to more like news. Well, not news. I'm going to run through the conferences and say who is first, just to recap a bit quick. And then I have some stats about the teams. So yeah, in the East, we have first Cleveland Cavaliers with 59 wins. They are almost established, and it's pretty sure that they will finish first in the East. Even though they had a tough last weeks. This past week has been okay, but the 2 previous ones were not good. But yeah, they are first with 59 wins. Second is Boston with 55 wins. Also assured to be second. They have a win streak of 8 games. Third is New York Knicks. Fourth, Indiana. Fifth, Detroit Pistons. 6, Milwaukee. 7, Orlando. 8, Atlanta. 9, Chicago. 10th, Miami. Miami, that I will speak about them later. And in the West, we have first OKC with 62 wins and a win streak of 9 games. Also, they are assured to be first in the West and probably first in the whole league. Second is Houston Rockets. Third, Denver. Fourth, Lakers. Fifth, Memphis. 6th, Clippers. 7th, Warriors. 8th, Minnesota. 9th, Dallas. 10th, Sacramento. 11th, Phoenix. Now there is 2 battles here going on. There is the battle for the 6th position, which the Clippers have right now. They are playing very good. The Clippers, Kawhi is playing very well. I will talk about him also later. Why there is a battle here? Because the Clippers are with 42 wins. Warriors are with 42 wins in the 7th position. And Minnesota is with 42 wins in the 8th position. Of course, you want to get out of the play-in. You want to assure your position in the playoffs. Yeah. So yeah, big battle there. And there is also a battle for the 10th position. So Dallas, which is 9th right now, which I don't know how they are winning. I don't think they're doing it on purpose because, of course, they have no chance without Curry and without AD. But they're winning. They have a win streak of 2 games. They are 37 wins right now. 10th is Sacramento with 36, and 11th is Phoenix with 35. So again, another battle for the 10th, even for the 9th spot. And last thing, well, not last thing from the podcast, but another thing to add is that apart from that, I did some research in the last week. I got the stats from the teams from the last week. So counting from Sunday, 23rd of March, the games from that Sunday, until the games from Saturday, 29th of March. I'm recording this Sunday, 30, so I have until the games that were played, last night. So I'm going to talk about the teams. What are they doing? So Miami, 4-0 of record in this week. Pretty impressive for Miami. Locking down that 10th position, the play-in spot. They always dangerous, I guess, in the play-in. So 4-0 this week, and they have the best net, let's say, rating. They're winning by the most points from the whole league this week. 20 points of average of winning the games. Boston also 4-0. OKC also 4 wins and 0 losses. Detroit 3-0, and they have the best offense for the week, 35 points per game. Then we have Orlando 3-1, very good as well. Denver 3-1, Cleveland 3-1, Toronto 3-1 with the best defense of the league this week, allowing only 101 points. Then Dallas 3-1 as well. Impressive Dallas. And they are winning the games by the least margin. Only 3.5 points average. Very tight games. And then we have teams that have split the games. So Indiana is 2-2 this week. Why do I mention Indiana? Because they are high in the playoffs, so it's not a good moment to lose some games. And then Lakers as well. They split it 2-2. And now teams that are doing bad and that are important, because of course a lot of teams are not caring about losing, but there are teams who care, like Sacramento Kings. They are 1-3 this last week, and like I said, they are 9th. They are 10th. They want to establish a good playing position. And Milwaukee, bad moment, 0-3. They lost Damian Lillard to a blood clot. I didn't mention this. Yes, poor Damian. He's out with a blood clot. Indefinitely, not a good moment. And Giannis, well, we'll talk about Giannis later. No, Giannis doing well. But still, 0-3. 0-3 for Milwaukee. Not a good moment to go down. And then same thing I just did with the teams, I did with the players. So I have here the stats of the best players from the last week. We can call it that. I want to first talk about Jokic and Shea because I mentioned at the beginning, and what are they doing this last week. So Jokic last week has done 33 points, 8 assists, and 12 rebounds. Shea has done 32 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. Both very good. Jokic a bit better, but both very good. Who else is performing well this last week? So Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi is back. Kawhi is back, guys. He has scored 28 points, 4 assists, and 9 rebounds this week. And good week for the Clippers. Tyler Hero with a 4-0 from Miami, and he has been scoring 29 points and 5 assists. Who else to mention? Good performance this week. OG Anunoby from the Knicks. Now that Brunson has been down for 12 games, Anunoby this week has scored 31 points per game, which is impressive for Anunoby, taking a bit the offensive load of Brunson. Another top performance, Luka Doncic, 30 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. Very good for Luka boy. Who else? A bit surprisingly, Jacob Poeltl from Toronto, which has done a good week, and he's playing very well. 22.5 points and 11.5 rebounds for Big Jacob. And then Kobe White from the Chicago Bulls, 29 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds for him. Also very good for Kobe. So those are the top performers from the last week, or at least interesting players with top performance. And now I move on to the segment, I Know What You Did, which we travel back in time. to another time, or to March, but for another year. And this time I know what you did the spring of 2023. So we're not going that far away, 2 seasons ago. Because what happened 2 seasons ago? Keegan Murray from Sacramento Kings, in his rookie season, 3 seasons ago, he surpassed Donovan Mitchell in 3-pointers scored by a rookie in a season. The record was by Donovan Mitchell in 2019, I think. He scored 187 3-pointers, and Keegan Murray, surpassed him, and in the 29th of March, he scored his 188 3-pointer of the season, and then he finished with 206 3-pointers total, with an impressive 41.1% from 3 that season. But it's true that after that season he scored 12 points, and he shot, like I said, 41%, shooting 6 3-pointers per game. But the truth is that was his best season in terms of shooting. This season he's shooting also 6 3-pointers per game, but only at 35%, and he's still scoring 12.5 points. So it feels like Keegan Murray, which he entered the league after 4 years in college, feels like he was already close to his peak when he entered the NBA, which is okay. He's a good player. But it seems like it looks like he's not gonna move up in his talents. He's not gonna grow much as a player. Still a good player. And hopefully he shuts me down and he actually becomes much better. Because I think he's a good, nice guy. So yeah, that's for I Know What You Did. And last but not least, we have the calling game. The game that we all are waiting for. So, I did it last week, but 2 weeks ago, but it didn't work out that well. So now, since I'm alone here, I'm going to do a different thing. I'm going to ask one of the AI machines there. I'm going to ask them to name me a stat, like one of stat, like assists, bounce, free throw percentage, whatever, random. And then I'm also going to ask them to tell me a year or a group of years. Like a season, And after that, I'm going to decide, I'm going to guess the top 5 or top 10 of that category, of that stat for those or for that year. If I go for top 5, I'm going to give me 3 misses. So I'm going to name the top 8, and I need to get out of 8 guesses, I need to get the top 5. Let's say, that's what I'm saying. I think I will do top 5. And I asked this AI that I don't want to say which one. The law is obvious. I asked that AI to give me stat. They gave me points per game. And I also asked them to give me a year, a group of years. They were confused and they gave me both options. So I chose one. They gave me 2007, 2008 for a season. And they also give me 95 to 2000. But I'm going to go with the season. So I chose. So the question is which is the top 5 of points per game scored in the season 2007-2008. Of course, I haven't looked this up before. Why would I? This will. I think it's, for me, it's funnier if it's genuine, right? Like I don't care if I get it right or wrong. That's not the point of the game. Kind of stupid, but it's for me to enjoy it, and also. I think if I enjoy it and if I try to guess, really think it's more fun. So yeah, so my guesses are for the most points scored. I will look it up after. So I will say all the guesses and then I will look it up. I need to get the top 5. I have 8 guesses. My guesses are Kobe Bryant, of course. That's the season that they win, actually, the championship. That's the season that Pau Gasol joins the team. So I think he's one of the top 5 highest scorer per game. LeBron James, usually. Dwayne Wade, another guess. Dirk Nowitzki, another guess. Amare Stoudamire, I think he was still playing with Steve Nash in Phoenix. I think he could be top 5. Paul Pierce. I'm going to guess Paul Pierce. Why am I saying this so quick? Because I had to re-record this, so I didn't check yet, but I already said the names before, so I'm going to use the same names. Paul Pierce, Carmelo Anthony, I think he was there. And my last guess, I have in between Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Allen Iverson, or Gilbert Arenas. I know Gilbert Arenas had a season that he was impressive, and it could be this one. And I think Iverson was already going down. I think Ray Allen was already with Pierce in Boston, not scoring that much. Same with Garnett. Duncan has never been a scorer. And I don't think I'm missing anyone important. Shaq, but Shaq already was late in his career. I don't think he was scoring that much. So yeah, those are my guesses. Kobe, LeBron, Wade, Dirk, Stoudemire, Pierce, Carmelo, and Gilbert Arenas. I hope that out of those 8, I get the top 5. So I'm going to check now. Okay, so here I have it. In Basketball Reference. Season 2007-2008. Highest scorers per game. So I have number 1 with 30 points per game. I have LeBron James. Good, I got it. Second one I have, I'm looking at, I only have seen these 2. Second one I have Kobe Bryant with 28 points per game. He was the MVP actually. Kobe. Third I missed already. I have Allen Iverson. I thought with Denver, 26 points. I thought he was not scoring that much by then, so I missed the game. Okay. Let's see if I get 4 or 5. Then I have Carmelo Anthony, 25.7, and Amar'e Stoudemire, 25.2. So I only missed Allen Iverson. Then it's Dwayne Wade with 24.6. I call him. He's the 6th. 7 is Kevin Martin. I didn't say that one. In Sacramento, oh, wow, I didn't expect that one. 23.7. Dirk Nowitzki is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with 23.6. Michael Redd, 22.7. 9. Richard Jefferson. Wow, look at Rich with 22.6. So yeah, I missed, and I'm gonna check now. If I see the other ones that I said, like Paul Pierce or Carmelo or Arenas. Maybe they didn't play enough. Maybe that's what happened. Gilbert Arenas, here it is. Only 19 points. Okay, I know. So it's not him. Okay, I will check because Arenas had a season that he scored a lot, so he has to be there sometime. And Paul Pierce, 19.6. Not that much, neither. And Carmelo? Very weird, Carmelo Anthony. I will check. Sorry, I had said already Carmelo. Carmelo was top 4 before Stoudemire. So yes, he was there, 25.7. It was only, I said who are not there. I said Pierce, Arenas, and Dirk and Wade, who are not top 5. I said didn't say Iverson. But I'm gonna check Arenas. Come on, Gilbert. The season prior, so the season 2007-2008, he scored 19 points. But the season prior, he scored 28.4. And the previous one, 29. So 2005 and 2006, 29. And the previous one, 2004 and 2005, he scored 25.5. So he did those 3 fantastic seasons. And then he makes 19 the season that I just guessed. So yeah. All right. So I missed the game. I got 4 out of 5. Bad, very bad. But okay, that's all for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed. And the playoffs are coming soon. I think I will do more content when are on the playoffs, during the playoffs. And of course, I will do a preview of the playoffs, which is in 2 weeks, I think, or in 3 weeks. And yeah, just tune in, subscribe, like, follow. Give a thumbs up, smile, and see you, I don't know next week, but soon. See you soon. All right. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.